Welcome to Cary, North Carolina, home for the Raleigh Flyers. I'm CJ Colicchio along with Josh Smith as the Raleigh Flyers take on the Austin Soul. Austin comes in with a 4-4 record, where Raleigh holds a 6-3 record, and both teams find themselves chasing division leaders Dallas. Josh, what are the keys to tonight's game?
Well, the Austin Soul, they like to send it deep and play a really poachy D. So Raleigh's going to do well to keep the disc on the wide sides of the field and keep nice tight throws and stop them from hucking that long shot that they love so much.
Absolutely. And Coach Mike Denardis from Raleigh talked about keys to the game for the Flyers. They're talking about coming out early on Austin and making sure that they can run up the score to almost take their chances away early. You know, Austin's coming from halfway across the country. They're flying here, tired legs. Kind of a skeleton roster, missing some guys, Ethan Pollock, Matt Bennett, some big names for Austin. This is going to be really taking them out of the game, but they do have some players, and let's go ahead and talk about some of their main people.
Yeah, number 23, Kyle Henke, the leading goal scorer for the Austin Soul. He's got 28 goals. Trying to replicate a lot of those tonight, definitely in the deep space. We got
Chase Cunningham, their main handler. He is a gunslinger, I know, athlete for Texas. He's got 39 assists. He does have 34 turnovers, though, in terms of how many discs he's thrown away.
Conservation of greatness.
Absolutely. He's going to be somebody who's going to be taking a lot of shots. And Mike Denardis talked about how his role with the team, you know, he's a guy who makes a lot of good throws. He's one of the many lefties here that Austin has. I guess they breed a lot of lefties down in Austin, but it's somebody to watch for.
We've also got Rory Orloff, the second leading goal scorer with 23 goals scored. Very solid downfield player.
Yeah, he actually was. I know that we watched the Austin stream, you know, as we're on the Flyers, and we were watching the game, and Orloff was getting a lot of mentions that game. I think he had like 9 goals in that game when we went down to Texas, and you know, he was an anomaly because, you know, he might not be the biggest or the fastest guy out there, but he gets open, makes plays. He scores 23 times this season. For the Flyers, we're looking for the main three. We got 25 goals apiece between Jack Williams, Misha Freistadter, and Jacob Fairfax. But when Jack Williams isn't catching the disc for a goal, he's throwing it. He actually leads the Flyers in assists as well with 34. And Jonathan Nethercutt, who hasn't been featured in most of the games this season, is right behind him with 28.
No surprise there. Nethercutt, dominant thrower, the last season's AUDL MVP.
And you would think that Raleigh's in a bit of a upwards trajectory. Our performance against Madison was one that was unprecedented. Madison has one of the best home records in the AUDL's history, and we went up there and kind of shellacked them in their own house. And a lot of that was behind Nethercutt's arm. As the Flyers pull here,
disc centered to Aubrey Davis to start the game.
And we see the Flyers coming out with a little bit of a junk, a little double team action. Disc in the hands of Natenberg. And we see a big hammer over the top. Oh, and unfortunately Kyle Henke's not able to come down with that one.
It's a great break for the Flyers, looking to do damage early. The problem with the Tampa game, like CJ told you earlier, is we didn't strike fast enough, hard enough, and these guys are coming off a long road trip.
And Bode's going to take a shot here to David Richardson. Oh, and a great play. Matt Bearshank making a play on a much bigger receiver in David Richardson. He seems like Richardson kind of gave up the position there, but unfortunately for the Flyers, not able to cash in on that early break opportunity. Max Cook with the disc, over to Orloff. Back to Cook. And patience. Michael Mathis with the disc now. A Sports Center top 10 athlete. When I was on Charlotte, he made a ridiculous layout catch and a thumping defeat for the Express. As Henke finds that hammer. Nanberg going to take the shot to Mathis, and that's a goal for the Austin Soul. So we see Austin turn the disc over on a hammer attempt. Flyers give it back, and they see the same sort of thing. I think that they like that hammer over the zone. I think they feel confident. There's one thing that Austin has, we talked about it before, is a lot of lefty hammers. So that throw is a hard throw for a righty thrower, but because they have a lot of lefty handlers, those cross-field shots from left to right are a lot easier to throw.
How many lefty handlers do they have?
I think they have 4.
That's annoying.
Yes, very much so. And one of their better ones is actually not even here, and Jeff Loscorn. So they have more. They just don't have them here.
Good for the Flyers. We have a solid O-line coming on, the starting O-line. We got Goose Helton, Bob Liu, of course Jonathan Nethercutt going to be on the backside of the disc, Terrence Mitchell, Jacob Fairfax, Misha Freystadter, towering, and of course Jack Williams, ready to do some damage.
The pull goes up. Bob Liu, good pull by Austin, something we did not see from the Tampa Bay game. Nethercutt with the disc. Fairfax is in isolation.
You can see the defenders backing Fairfax by about 5 yards on his initiation cut. That is a dangerous downfield cutter, and they're going to want to keep him out of the deep space because they may love the long ball, but we love the long ball to Fairfax just as much.
Absolutely, and Cunningham is a smart player. He knows that Fairfax is going to want the deep, and Fairfax floats it out there for Nethercutt, rocking that wonderful mustache of his. Some of the fans disagree. Bob Liu's going to take a shot for Terrence Mitchell.
Streaking tons of space, and that's how it's done.
And I feel bad for Corey Micah because that is not going to get D'd. What a great throw. Break side huck from Bob Liu finding Terrence Mitchell.
Flyers sending out that D-line ready to go.
Yep, and the key there was just patience from the Flyers. They swung it a couple times, a couple high throws off the release. And so the Flyers looking to solidify an early D point here. Brett Matsuka, Mike Pannoni, Jakeem Polk, Josh Hartzog, Justin Allen, Shane Sisko, and of course rookie Johnny Lynch, who had a monster layout bid in that game against Tampa Bay. And then following it up with an incredible bid against DC. The kid makes plays.
Great pull from Noah Saw hanging in the sun for the Soul to pick up.
And we see Aubrey Davis with the disc now. Cook. And Johnny Lynch streaking. Oh!
Great defense by Johnny Lynch.
Johnny Lynch almost getting Michael Mathis, trying to get his own SportsCenter highlight.
Yeah,
oh, and Orloff not getting the disc there. Noah Saul's going to take the shot. He floats it up. Hankey in defense. Pannoni rises up and makes the play. The former Buffalo Hunter and Pittsburgh Thunderbird, Mike Pannoni, using his speed to accelerate from his defender there. Good recovery D by Hankey. Flyers go up 2-1 on an early break. And Josh, what's going to be the key for Raleigh to do that? I mean, these are 2 unforced errors. Those are going to come, right? And if we're going to hopefully cash in on those unforced errors, that means they're going to start taking more shots. And that's going to kind of be like a domino effect. But
yeah, we're going to see a cascading effect on that for sure. We know that they're going to be coming trying to play poachy, and so we're going to be trying to play a really tight lockdown for sure throw game. And if we can get them to shoot like they like to do, then we will definitely be more victorious than that.
Pull goes up from Noah Saul again. As the sun is shining down in Cary, North Carolina, it's a balmy upper 80s evening here. Perfect for ultimate. Chase Cunningham with the disc. One of those lefty throwers. Double team applied. Scoobers over the top. Little awkward for Chris Brooks, but he's able to keep swinging the disc, finding Ryan Bigley. It's an unfortunate name to have in this presidency. Chris Brooks again. Cunningham. Nice inside break. And Austin's off to space. Outside the goal line here. Looks like Raleigh has dropped and gone into man. Bigley with the throw, but I guess he got fouled there.
Yeah, the full extension backhand around. He went to draw the foul there. Smart play.
Here in North Carolina, especially in the triangle, we call that the Stephen Poulos. The fall down backhand.
Oh, great switch in the end zone. Oh, not enough.
And Cunningham beats him up the line. Cunningham from Bigley. And it's a hold for the Austin Soul. And I mean, what we see there is just really patient from Austin. They, there was that one Bigley's throw It's kind of sketchy. He's lucky to get that call. I mean, if this wasn't the AUDL, he might not, that might have to go back. But since the ref agreed with him that was a foul, he gets the disc 10 yards up. Patience offense, Austin scores.
Yeah, not uncommon in the AUDL to see people forcing a little bit more of a tight shot, a little bit more of an around, trying to get that full extension, because that foul call is a big advantage to get in the red zone.
Absolutely, and just to remind our viewers, if you were within 10 yards of the end zone, you would take it to the center. They were just outside the 10 yards, so they did carry it up a little bit, but not towards the center of the field. Austin with the pull, another good one. Bob Lou to Kieran Allen, somebody who's been playing a lot better this year, getting more of a chance in his emerging role. Jack Williams, and he's going to have Misha Freistatter, and good mark there from Austin. Murphy. Little contact on the mark from Murphy.
Yeah, we're seeing Seoul play a little bit tighter than the past few points. None of this junk now. They're tightening lockdown on man.
A picture-perfect scooper from Nethercutt, finding Allen. A little give and go action. Oh, and a really nice layout D from Cunningham. It looks like a timeout by Austin. And just a reminder that here in the AUDL, unlike USA Club Ultimate, a timeout allows the team to take all of their members off the field and replace them with their O-line. And that's a huge advantage.
What do we think Austin's going to be throwing here with probably putting out an O-line, definitely an initiation play in the works? What do we think we're going to see?
Probably something where they're going to want to isolate their cutters like Mathis or Cunningham and give them a chance to make a play down the field. That's if Cunningham stays on. I don't know if because he was on that point for D-line, he might save. I think they're going to look for Hankey maybe deep here. He's their leading goal scorer and he's a big target. You might see him stretch the deep. It's definitely probably coming from Purcell or Cook. There's been the people that have been having the disc in their hands at times. So let's see what they're going to throw out there. And you see Orloff moving down the field. And like I said, he might not be the biggest guy, but he definitely scores goals for this team. This is a big point for Austin. They gave up the break early. Raleigh's going to need to stop this attempt, maybe call a timeout of their own. We know that Denardis likes to call a timeout when the D-line's on.
Yeah, we see them throw out a hugely athletic D-line. Got Johnny Lynch, who we saw blow up on the inside layout D earlier, barely missing it. We've seen a lot out of this rookie. He's really good on D, getting in inside shoulders and dipping in and blowing up some layout Ds.
Absolutely. And we see a split cut and a huck coming up to Hankey.
David Richardson in pursuit.
David Richardson, just misread it just a little bit. Hankey scores to regain the break for Austin. That's 3-2, and we're back on serve. And we saw, that's a pretty basic split, what we would call a split cut. The back of the stack would go to one side, the fourth in the stack would go to the other side, and the third would go deep. And since each option to the sidelines wasn't there, higher stall count comes up, we see a shot there from Austin. And it works out. David Richardson caught up the ground. Looks like he mistimed his jump a little bit. And we know David Richardson. He's going to go out there. That's not going to upset him. It's just going to make him want to work harder for the next one. Yeah,
he dominates definitely in the physical game. We see him getting to the spot quickly and posting up and using his body to be a very physical player. But when you get separation like that, it's hard to make up ground and play catch up on that disc.
Absolutely, and we know D. Rich from practice. That's gonna fuel him to get the next one that goes up.
D. Rich is a manimal. Ain't no two ways about it.
That's right. Less than awesome pull from Austin this time. Bob Lou and Nethercutt, Terrence out in the space being guarded by Cunningham, that would be Cecil. Terrence with the disc. Jack Williams doing a dance out there for Cameron DeFerry. Nutt with a huge swinging throw to Misha. He's able to get it. Kieran Allen swinging. Little dump. Good fake by Williams. Another assist for Williams finding Fairfax. Very easy from the Raleigh Flyers.
Yeah, Fairfax collects his 26th goal of the season. Many more to come.
Absolutely.
Jacob Fairfax with a nifty grab.
Looks like the sun's going down behind some clouds. A little bit of darkness to cool off the night sky here in Cary, North Carolina. The crowd settling in. A beautiful, just early summer night, even though it's not quite summer yet. You wouldn't know. It's been about 90 since May.
It's been humid since May.
That is true. There was like one really nice day of spring. It went from winter to summer in a day. Welcome to North Carolina.
Captain Noah Saul putting up a huge pull to the middle of the field.
Natenberg with the disc now. And he throws it around to Hankey, who slides to make the catch. Biershank with the disc. Over to Davis. Swings it to Cook. Finds Natenberg again. Pannoni putting on a big mark, trying to deny that around throw, and he's able to get it to Cook. Matsuka a little farther off of Biershank, who's going to throw a nice around throw, and Pannoni closing the ground. Oh,
just barely missed it.
And that's where the width of the AUDL really values the throw.
Yeah, it's so true. Lateral movement, extremely dangerous on a field like this. That's the game that you're going to see them play. If they're a shooting team, they like that deep space. You're going to see a lot of lateral movement and then gunslinging from the side.
Yeah, and hopefully we might get a replay of that and just to watch the. We might be able to see that throw that was allowed to go around, but I mean, just the ability to throw that around, that's something you don't really see in the club game as much, because if he gets that throw on that at that white line, that's generally the out of bounds line. And trying to finagle that into a small window in the AUDL, it's almost nearly impossible for USAU, but that's why we like this sport. It's exciting, gives us those chances that you won't be able to see in a club game.
Certainly widens every lane, widens your around lane and your inside lane.
Cunningham with the big inside-out pull, and it's going to stay nicely in the middle.
These Austin pulls have been hanging.
Yes, they have been.
Very impressive pulls from Austin.
It's a little windy in Austin, and not windy tonight as Jack Williams takes off Deacon. Fairfax is going to take a shot, and not guarding Jack Williams is not the best strategy in the world.
He's been known, TJ, to put up some numbers.
And I feel bad for Purcell. I mean, I've definitely been that guy to be burned by Jack Williams in practice and competitively. So I know how that works. I think there might have been a miscommunication between Purcell and the other guy. But Jacob Fairfax, who has been known more throughout his career as a, cutter, he's definitely now becoming more of a thrower. We saw that in the Madison game where he uncorked a monster backhand huck to Williams in the back corner. It was picture perfect. And, that's one thing they talked about in his college game was like, yes, he's an incredible athlete. He can cut deep. He can sky the roof off of anybody. But is he a good thrower? And he's like, yeah, sure, I can throw. He's showing it off right now.
He sure is. And like we were saying with the size advantage of the ADL field, when you can put a monster bomb out there and let it hang for space, then the athleticism can really come out, and we can see these athletic matchups.
And we see the junk again, and Noah Saul is just going to eat that one up, and he's going to float it to Josh Hartzog, who
all right.
He is very happy, let me tell you. Putting those deadlifts and squats to good use as he rises up to make that play. That's a quick break for the Raleigh Flyers.
Talk about two extremely committed conditioning athletes. Hartzog and Saul, the assist and the goal on that play. Those guys are in the gym every day for sure, blowing up the group me.
We've seen many selfies from those two. I will say that, Josh Hartzog is one of those guys who, the first year when we were both on the Flyers together, he and I both didn't play as much, and I think that really fueled him to hit the gym, to do those extra sprints, to run and throw every day, and now he's a guaranteed starter. I mean, that really says a lot about his character as a player, and it shows on the Frisbee field.
And your commentary skills, CJ.
Let me tell you, I have never been better. Another double team. Let's see if it can pay off. Looks like Brooks is with the disc. And a lot of negative yardage here. Bigley with the disc. And he's able to finagle it around McKelvey, who is just a workhorse for the Flyers. Coming over from Jacksonville last year, him and Misha. Everyone talks about Misha as the big addition to the Raleigh Flyers. It's Good to know that McKelvey has also been really, really good as the D there from the Flyers and with on the goal line again. And Matt Bode finds it. And that's 2 really quick goals for the Raleigh Flyers. Noah Saul.
Second assist in a row.
Second assist in a row on the goal line as well. Finding his high school friend Matt Bode, both from Pennsbury, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but like you were talking about earlier with Andrew McKelvey, he is just a workhorse for the Raleigh Flyers. He brings a lot of intangibles to the field when he's a dangerous cutter in the deep space, so everybody respects him. When he gets those huge unders, even if they're looked off, he's got a lot of the defense on their toes, waiting to bite on him, especially a poachy team like Austin. So he brings a lot to the lateral movement of the Flyers in their offense.
Absolutely. I talked to his girlfriend Gentry, and she talks about how his strength comes from his crab walking ability. He's able to shift side to side and just about as fast as people can run just forward. So his lateral quickness is what allows him to be so strong in that double team that Mike DeNardis likes to run. And 2 in a row. I mean, Austin, they're a good handling team, and this is exactly what DeNardis is talking about. Pressuring their handlers, jumping out to an early lead, and really putting the foot down early.
Yeah, we're seeing the intensity from the Raleigh D right now in a hard lock man.
Oh, and they're taking a shot on Jakeem Polk.
Bad idea.
Good luck. And Jock just getting a nice fingertip on it. Hankey, to his credit, was right there, but Jock looked like he had that one all wrapped up. Of all the people you want to throw it deep against, I would say Jakeem Polk is probably the last one.
No, especially when he has that inside lane on you and he can get up to that disc at its highest point. His highest point is pretty high.
Justin Allen opting not to throw the bomb to Jacob Mao, who's getting a rare D point. A staple on the O-line, and Jakeem Polk is taking off. Does Brett Matsuka see him? Nope, he actually stops his cut. Matsuka finding Allen, and he's going to take a shot to Jakeem Polk this time. The chance for bookends for Jakeem Polk.
No longer the Hankey matchup.
Oh, and he takes the roof off of Matt Bearshank, who's not only giving up some inches, but unfortunately he was able to not give up a lot of height on that vertical. Justin Allen hitting Jakeem Polk in stride, getting his bookends. I've seen Jakeem do that as my teammate on the Charlotte Express enough times to know that I don't think Bearshank had that one. Jock's got that 99 times out of 100.
I've been cookie jarred a few times by Jakeem Polk. Not a fun time.
Not a great time. And you know what? People say, like, you know, he's still new to the game, you know, he's got that D2 football mentality, but he is a workhorse as well. We talked about a lot of players on the Flyers just putting in the work. Jakeem has really tried to drop that stigma of just being an athletic person. He can throw now. He can read the disc. He can still have like a 40-plus inch vertical jump, which is just disgusting.
Not to mention that dangerous first step.
Yes, that 4.5 speed of his that he ran at the Charlotte Express Combine a couple years ago has not slowed down, that's for sure. Cunningham finding that inside lane to Cecil. Cecil over to Moore. Ooh, just under the outstretched arms of McKelvey. Another double team. They're really liking the sideline double team.
Yeah, every time you can get somebody on a sideline to invert that disc and get a wobbly throw off, that's a win for the double team.
Austin stretches the sideline, hitting Purcell, one of the captains, one of the lefty captains, to the other lefty captain. And Cunningham opts to not hit. He's going to take that big old shot.
Talking about that lefty hammer.
He's not in for Austin. It looks like Murphy. Back to Cecil.
Great heads-up defense from Pannoni on that roll.
They switch really well here, but it looks like there's a pick there. So no goal for Austin. In fact, it's going to be 10 yards back. It looks like not too much complaining from Austin. They kind of knew it was there. Cunningham over to Purcell. Oh, and Noah Saul just missing that layout.
Very intense red zone defense from the Flyers as Noah Saul bids inside with just a little bit of momentum.
And with 3 minutes and 2 seconds left, Raleigh up 7-5. And I mean, that's a good point for Austin. You know, they're really trying to, if they're going to get that double team, they need to kind of expose that hammer space. And we're seeing Cunningham being the guy who's taking those shots. Him and Purcell are going to need to use their lefty hammers to blade over the top of the Raleigh defense. Raleigh's O-line coming back after a little nice hiatus off the field. And we see Brett Matsuka, Goose Helton, who I saw getting his toe wrapped up a little bit. I know that he's been nursing somewhat of a broken toe, which is just nauseating as somebody who doesn't have any broken toes and can't run as fast or jump as high as him.
I'd like to think that Goose Helton would break all 10 toes before he would stop doing something that involves physical fitness.
That is true. That is very true. Recently won gold medal at Beach Nationals with his friends on Humiliswag, McKelvey and Freischauter on that team as well. Nethercutt with the disc, and he's going to take a shot for Fairfax, and he's going to float it up there. And Fairfax, and he's just doing what he does best. Credit to the defender there. Unfortunately, Jacob Fairfax is pretty nigh unbeatable in the air. The top 5 Callahan candidate in the college ultimate season from the University of Charlotte. Going up and making that play, Raleigh up 8-5. And that's really Jacob Fairfax's strength. You know, he's fast, he can jump. I mean, he's just the prototypical ultimate player that you would want to have as a cutter.
Dangerous athlete. That goal actually just put him over the top for the leading goal scorer for Raleigh.
A feat that will probably be contended between him and Jack and Misha over the next couple weeks as we get late into the season. Justin Allen with his patented flick pull. Right on the goal line for Cook to catch.
Soul coming out in a side step.
And we see Biershank out into the lane and opt to not throw from Davis, who hits Cook. Over to Natenberg, excuse me. Back to Cook, and we see kind of this is what Raleigh wants. There's not a lot of good downfield cutting. And with this handler staying in the lane, he's being prevented to hit those throws that might be open just for a second because of the poached defender over the top. Double team applied by Raleigh. Cute little scooper over the top there from Natenberg. Around, finding Biershank. And now we see Raleigh doing a little bit of more pressure defense. Natenberg opts to not throw the around. Whoa, great scooping catch right there from Orlov, who throws through the contact. And a goal for the Austin Soul. Orlov to Mathis.
So we're going to need one more contestant for this dance-off, age 12 and under.
And for Raleigh, not every point is going to be a break. And sometimes it's going to be a point where you play good defense and they make good plays. I mean, there was a really nice catch from Orlov on the sideline, and then he threw through the contact and was able to get a goal. I mean, that's not a bad defensive point. You got to expect that a very good team like this is still, like, they're going to make plays.
Yeah, you can expect it from somewhere like Texas where it's windy, coming up here in these nice temperate conditions. We're seeing a lot of throws, very, very clean inside throws being used to break up Raleigh's junk. Not that they were so junky on the last play, but in the points before they decided to lock down, we're seeing Austin use some very, very creative throwing to get around that.
Absolutely, and if you're Austin, you're okay with this right now. You know, you're the traveling team, you're behind a couple breaks, but you're right in it. I mean, Raleigh hasn't done something where it's been like we are not able to progress through their D-line. As we see Jack Williams getting a big chunk of yards. Cunningham able to go, and Goose Helton's going to take a deep look, and Williams gives him a pump. Swings it over to Nethercutt, who throws it a little carelessly almost. Freischauter able to caress that.
Now here's a rule I don't know, CJ. If you're unmarked in the AUDL, is there a stall on you?
There is not. Somebody has to be within 10 feet of you. And so you don't have to be marked, but somebody has to be within 10 feet of you. And that was a kind of a weird, there was a Madison-Seattle game in the playoffs a couple years ago where Hussein Carnegie, you know, said he was within 10 feet of the Madison defender, and the Madison defender actually got stalled out on the goal line. And there was a big hubbub as a big hammer for a break goes up to Cunningham, and Jack Williams, he gets his hand on it, and Cunningham is able to secure the catch. Not really a catch your D kind of moment. Oh my God, that was so incredible athleticism
Full
to get
extension.
there. But he hits it right into his hands, and that's a break for the Austin Soul. And to talk about that miscommunication that looked like between Nethercutt and Bob Lou, you know, Nethercutt has been pretty busy. He hasn't been at all the games. You know, he's still one of the best throwers of the reigning AUDL MVP. He's obviously throwing a lot of assists in the games that he is participating in, but but sometimes you see there might be a little bit of a miscommunication between him and Bob.
Yeah, Bob's first year on the Flyers, chemistry is huge in the handler set in the backfield, and it's just getting used to cutting. Lots of teams bring different cutting patterns and where they want to find their dangerous space, so chemistry is really important in this field.
And I think that's the last we're going to see of the sun. The lights have come down.
That was a depressing sentence.
What can I say?
We got Terrence Mitchell pushing for space, probably about to be isolated for a continuation.
Kieran Allen swinging the disc and nut, and he sees Matsuka in the space. McKelvey's got some room, but he's being covered by Bigley, and he's pushing into that deep space. Matsuka dominant in his zone.
Making mincemeat of this zone.
Absolutely. When you have great throwers who are patient and who can see the threading of holes, such as Matsuka can, you know, when I play Ultimate with him and I'm trying to like see what he sees, I just don't. I just watch in awe and in respect.
Yes, the man has the vision. I admire just wholeheartedly how well he can holster a disc at full extension. He can already have the wrist snap completed and reel that thing back in.
And it doesn't matter how big of a mark he has on him. As a shot goes up, oh, unable to get the disc. And I think we're going to see a timeout here for a stoppage of the play. As the clock was running down, a rare turnover from Matsuka, and the Flyers are going to flood their deep space. And we're going to see a jump ball here, more than likely from Austin, a double team from the Flyers.
You see Captain Noah Saul sending Kieran and Terrence and Goose in the deep space to stop the huck. 3 Flyers, 1 Soul.
And there might be enough time for a quick throw and a huck. 2 seconds, oh, and just a straight turn. And I'm wondering if that's the end of the first quarter. It is the end of the first quarter. And so the Raleigh Flyers are up 8-7. They secure a 1-break advantage over the Austin Soul. And we're going to step away for a quick second. All right, and we're back for the second quarter. Raleigh Flyers receiving the pole, up 8-7.
What changes do you think we're going to see in the Souls defense coming down on Raleigh right now?
I honestly wouldn't change anything if I'm the Souls defense. I think that they're playing well. I think that they could be a little bit more patient and not trying to Raleigh, we know what the game plan for Raleigh is. They're going to try to sucker them in with in-cuts and blast deep. What Austin needs to do is to be patient. They need to react and let Nut and Bob not do what they want, but essentially pressure them into making the bad throws that we've seen them with miscommunications. If I'm talking about Austin's offense, I want to see more hammers over the top. I want to see them make Raleigh stop going away from their double team. To prove, like when Raleigh moves the disc through Austin's zone, Austin kind of goes away from that.
Yeah,
Raleigh,
great point.
And Raleigh's defense has been kind of suffocating at this point, especially in their own half, where we've seen the 2 drops right outside the Austin's goal line as Bob Liu and Brett Matsuka go back to work from their previous quarter, where the quarter was cut short by the time. And we see no Nethercutt on this point.
Massive swings from the Flyers in the backfield as they look down, waiting for cutters to gain space, but it's hard with that wall of defenders in the zone that Austin's thrown.
And we see good spacing here by Fairfax. He's kind of just sitting in the middle of the field looking for that blade over the top, and Cunningham is quick enough to make up that ground. We also see Richardson going through that area and a sketchy hammer over the top, and he's able to get it to Misha.
Yeah, that was Brett Matzuka taking it upon himself with a hard upline cut and then a hammer to make some space while the cutters were struggling downfield.
Looks like they've gone man, and Jack Williams throwing it to Goose Helton, who, if he has a broken toe or not, he's still very fast. Raleigh up 9-7.
You know, CJ, I know from personal experience that geese are fast. I've been chased by a goose. Not a great time.
Yeah, except this one is a lot bigger. He's a lot nicer. Geese are kind of jerks. This goose is nice.
You heard it here, folks, live from Cary, Wakemed Soccer Park. We hate geese.
That's right. We are Flyers, but we do not like geese. Noah Saul going to be pulling. Defensive line for the Flyers includes Shane Sisko, Justin Allen, McKelvey. Looks like Josh Hartzog, David Richardson, and Matt Bode. A solid defensive line.
Lots of experience on that line. Only one rookie, right? Andrew McKelvey?
That's right. McKelvey, of course, putting a couple years in Jacksonville before coming here, but he is a rookie on this team. That is for sure.
He's not a rookie in a D-line.
No, definitely not.
Flyers starting out with the double team.
Yep, going back to that double team that we were talking about, and Orlov able to puncture that. We see Nattenberg with a big throw. Crossfield to Davis, over to Cook. The Flyers are not shying away from this double team. They really think that this is going to work, and it has been, but it has to be tighter than that as Orlov's able to sneak it through to Cook. Another quick one to Nattenberg, and a hammer attempt from that, but he opts for the same third hammer over to Hankey. And Hankey's going to take a shot, and it's David Richardson territory. Oh, and unfortunately, a nice defensive play by David Richardson. He gets a finger on it, but it pops right to Michael Mathis for the second kind of defense that we've seen that many points where a Flyer gets his hand on it, but it pops right to the offensive player for Austin.
Reminiscent of Williams' defensive play a few goals ago.
Absolutely. A kind of risky shot there from Hankey. Maybe not the guy on the Austin team you want throwing that throw, but Mathis is definitely one of those guys you want receiving it, if that's going to be the case. Impressive recovery speed from Richardson. He's one of the fastest players on the Flyers, so if he's barely getting the ground on that, you know that one's pretty much unguardable.
When do you think we're going to start seeing some fatigue from the Saul or from the Flyers?
Well, it depends on how they take care of their bodies. I know that, the Flyers train us pretty hard to beat fatigue in these long AUDL games, and depending on how Austin's train regiment, the AUDL is hard on anybody. You talk to somebody who plays club and you play 4 games a day versus an AUDL game, and some people tell you an AUDL game is way harder on your body than 4 games at a club tournament.
It's a big field, lots of space, lots of time for your defender to make you work for it. Speaking of work,
a high stall count from Bob Lou. He's able to hit Matsuka in the hand, but he wasn't able to squeeze it. And Cunningham with the disc now. Austin looking to tie up the score at 9s. Walter with the disc. Bigley outside the goal line. And he's going to take a high stall count throw. It's going to fade out. Just able to stay in. He has a lane, opts not to throw it.
Flyers clamping down on that force side lane, making sure that that last second throw can't be put in the end zone.
Austin right on the goal line. Richardson to Cunningham, who droops a hammer over the top, finding Walter. And Austin has tied this game up. And this is what we were talking about. If I'm Austin, I'm not changing my defense. I'm allowing myself to see what Raleigh's going to do about it. I'm going to let Raleigh try to beat us and do what we're trying to do here. And it's working for them. See a high stall count throw and throwing it to Matsuka, who might not be the tallest of receivers. He definitely can jump. We've both seen him rise up and make incredible catches before. Only able to get a fingertip on that one. Little shake up to the O-line as Jacob Fairfax, Kieran Allen, Goose Helton come on, and Jake Mao. And we also see the addition of some D-line players in Noah Saul and Shane Sisko.
Can't forget about Goose's headband making an appearance.
That's right. It's an important accessory item that we don't really see here on the Flyers anymore.
Talk about the intangibles. McKelvey may bring some space and some great D to the Flyers, but Goose's headband, that brings intangibles that you can't even think of.
You can't teach intangibles like a headband has.
You can't. You just can't, CJ.
And the first out-of-bounds pull for either team. Disc will be on the brick mark, which is denoted by that X on the field as Nethercutt dumps it to Allen. And we see this junk look again from Austin. And Raleigh's just going to try to move this as fast as they can through the zone. When we were in college and we broke through a zone, we used to call it off to the races, because we knew that if we could get off to the races and beat the people in the zone, that more of their people would be behind the disc and we had an advantage. The AODL, it's a little bit harder because, first of all, people are faster, but also they have a chance to, swing the disc. You can clamp your zone still down. Nice throw there from Sisko.
Is Raleigh going to really want to play that fast-paced offense, considering you're afraid of the mistakes in the handler set?
I guess we'll find out as Goose Helton, that was pretty close to a Calvin Johnson type of play there. He caught it and tapped the ground and dropped the disc so fast. Could have been considered a drop if it wasn't careful. Raleigh stays in the lead at 10-9, and once again, Goose might be one of the older guys out there. His body might not be at 100%. He is still getting open at will.
It's the headband. It's the headband, CJ.
Do you think he wears one on his toes?
I think he wears one every time we don't see him.
That's fair.
He showers in a headband.
That is a conspiracy theory I can get behind. Josh Hartzog with the pull. And I think he liked the Austin out-of-bounds pull so much he decided to throw in his own. Looks like Pannoni's going to be on the mark here of Nattenberg. And we see the vert stack again from the Austin. We see the front of the stack and the back of the stack. Both cutting. Jakeem Polk trailing Hankey. Forced middle mark here from the Flyers, or perhaps just a backhand. Johnny Lynch trailing Mathis. Low throw. Ref calls that one up. Justin Allen gonna run right past the handler he was guarding. The franchise making a break play there. And Mike Pannoni off. Not a matchup I would ever choose to have. Just get nauseated thinking about how fast Mike Pannoni is. Justin Allen. Looks like there's a timeout before the throw to Bode. Mike DeNardis not thrilled with how this point was progressing offensively for the Raleigh D-line. It was going pretty much backwards. So he's going to go ahead and take all those 7 players off and replace them with O-line players, which is a pretty common thing in the ADL. I know that, as a D-line player, that's kind of frustrating, but, you want to, it's kind of a team before me sort of thing. You know that if you can get this break, it kind of gets demoralizing for the opposing team. And if you can have your offensive come in, run their set, get a break, you're going to be out there the next point anyways.
Well said, well said. We have great throwers in Matt Bode and Justin Allen, but they just, Bode in the center handler possession just couldn't get it past that one poach off of JA in the lane, number 4, and they saw that and decided to throw in the O-line handlers.
Actually, absolutely. Credit to Austin, that's their O-line out there playing defense, but they did a great job of pushing the Flyers back and forcing them to call a timeout.
That's the poach we were afraid of coming in.
And so the offense has subbed on for the Raleigh Flyers, and Jonathan Nethercutt over the disc. He's got Brett Matsuka behind him, and we see a split stack from the Flyers. Isolating Williams and Fairfax, and God, that is just a lot of speed and height and frisbee awesomeness right there.
I've been sauced by both of them.
It's not a great feeling.
It's an honor.
I think the first time I ever played against Jack Williams was in mixed ultimate, and he was a young kid. His nut takes a shot to Williams here, and the defender Murphy, really great defense there from Deftari, excuse me, and that's frustrating. He had really run really well with Williams there. Nethercutt's throw stayed up in the air a lot, and unable to actually get Jack Williams to move away from the disc. A goal there for the Flyers and a break to go up 11-9. Like I was saying, you know, Jack Williams started off his game in mixed ultimate for the club Raleighwood. He was fresh off of his first year at club nationals, college nationals, where he led college nationals in scoring, and I had no idea because I wasn't paying attention that year apparently. I think I was in Europe.
The kid was bionic that year, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he was bionic in that game. He roasted me deep like 5 times. It's like, that guy is fast.
He's fast, he can jump high, and he's one of the assist leaders on this team.
Absolutely. He's also starting to lift this year, so now
Watch out.
he's getting faster and stronger. Nattenberg and Cook over to Orloff, and he's going to take a shot here. David Richardson sneaking into the backfield.
Great heads-up help defense from D-Rich, recognizing that fly pattern and getting on the inside of it before the streaking soul could get to it.
Love the smackdown from D-Rich.
Testosterone.
And Josh Hartzog's going to take a shot for Johnny Lynch, and Johnny Lynch is just going to run past his defenders. The University of South Carolina ultimate. Just amazing play from that alumnus right there. My God, he was able to run past not one but 2 Austin defenders. And when Josh Hartzog has that disc on his backhand side, you want to just cut deep because he's going to throw it.
First year out of college, really young player. We're going to see some great things from him in the coming years.
He has a bright future ahead of him. Do take note of that. And that's backbreaking for Austin. I think that they wanted to, you know, Orlov is going to take that shot. He thought it was open. He didn't see David Richardson. That's something that Raleigh was thinking about doing. We talked about keys to success for Raleigh tonight in Austin's game plan. We knew we saw them hucking it a lot. So having that backside defender is exactly what we want. Is that pull is going to just come back in. A great pull from Noah Saul. And Misha Freistatter, all 6'7" of him, is able to run down that pole, beat everybody down. It's great to see from the big man. That's something we can both appreciate there, Josh.
We've been known to be tall.
That's right. Almost 13 feet between the commentators right now.
We see Jakeem Polk giving up a little bit of the deep space, 2 or 3 steps. I think he's baiting that deep shot because he thinks he can make a play on it.
Almost a layout Callahan from Matsuka there. And Cunningham getting guarded by Noah Saul. The big lefty swings the disc. And we see a deep shot here. And we see Justin Allen getting tested. A great defensive play there from Allen. Kind of a really deep cut from number 21, Elliott Moore. He was very deep already, and yet his thrower decided to take that shot. Noah Saul hitting Matt Bode to Matsuka. Freistatter in the space, and Matsuka is just going to let the big man go and gallop for it. And he calls it in. Austin is not thrilled by, I think his back foot was down. Ref calls him in. Matsuka to Freistatter. I talked to Misha a little bit about his time in Jacksonville and his time in Raleigh so far, and he's thankful that now people are learning how to throw to him. He's like, I just sometimes don't want to run very fast.
Not a small target.
Just floated up there, he said. And Matsuka kind of did a little bit of both there. Made him run for it, but he nicely floated it out to space for him to gallop on. Looked like a giraffe hunting that one down.
We see Raleigh with little hesitation to throw that deep shot, trying to do more damage as early as possible. The Saul with that huck intended for Elliott Moore, but we saw Purcell draw his defender in there, which is not what you want to see in with athletic matchups like the Flyers.
Absolutely not. And we see Austin kind of giving away from their game plan. We've seen more of their huck game, which is what we talked about earlier, how they did want to huck it, but they wanted to be smart hucks. And we knew that the backside defenders are going to try to see that and to try to make a play on it. And early in the first quarter, it was working for Austin, but they didn't continue to take smarter shots. They opted to still take those riskier throws with the backside defender. Goober over the top. Davis with the disc. Really good pressure here from Hartzog on Cook. Allen as his dump defender. Scuba attempt, and Shane Cisco takes that one down. He's going to throw that one out to space, and Mike Pannoni is just going to jog. Oh, no. Oh, yes.
Mike Pannoni
oh
bobbles for the score.
I don't even know what happened there.
The fans are on their feet. He likes to keep them in suspense, that Mike.
Wow. I was saying jogging because, you know, I thought he was just going to leisurely get that one, but he made it a little interesting there.
He wanted to jog more. He enjoys jogs.
He likes giving his coaches and teammates a bit of anxiety on that one. And Shane Cisco making a really nice around backhand throw.
No. He gets no assist on that. Mike Pannoni with the assist. The assist.
And we're seeing Austin just turn the disc away, you know, kind of unabashed here. They're just not being pressured. They're not, these turns are from kind of poor decisions, bad hucks, bad scuba looks, something that they weren't doing in the first quarter. Now that they're doing it, they're down 5. This is kind of a tendency you can't sustain in the AUDL. As we see Purcell with the disc, finding Cunningham. Mathis with the disc. Excuse me, not Mathis, that would be Richardson to Purcell. High stall count there from the Soul. Cunningham looking. Nice around backhand. Austin hitting their insides here as Raleigh's opted to throw more of a man look this time.
Seeing a bit of fatigue from the Saul now with longer stalls. It's a very short stall in the ADL, 7 seconds.
Uh-oh, and Justin Allen's gonna pick up the disc, and Jakeem Polk was going, but he opted not to throw it, and he's got Matt Bode.
Perfect space throw from Noah Saul.
Matt Bode getting a double team applied to him, except it was more like a 1.5 team because Purcell had fallen. Bode back with the disc. Oh, and unfortunately not the best throw there from Bode as Austin's able to pick it up. Purcell on the goal line, and he's just gonna easily get it for the goal. And you know, that's kind of why we talk about why Mike DeNardis kind of throws that timeout play out there. Likes to get his other throwers on there. It's unfortunate from Bode. He's a good thrower, we know he is. Kind of missed that one.
On June 25th through the 28th, that's 4 days, the Raleigh Flyers and the Raleigh.
Yeah, that was Austin's first goal to Raleigh's 5 in a row. Starting to see a little bit of life out of the Soul, but we're also seeing fatigue and that their stalls are getting a little bit longer. You see them hesitating on the arounds, not taking the first look shots that are as wide open as they were at the beginning of the game.
Absolutely, and Adams, number 27, Adams making a really nice play on the dump defense there, and he's able to mack it a little farther than he had to run, and Purcell picked up the disc, gave that man his bookends. And with 4 minutes and 11 seconds left, the Austin Soul are behind 4 points, and they opt to roll this one out as the Raleigh sideline knocks the disc down, and Jonathan Nethercutt is in no rush. I think he's seen enough double teams, and in this actually case, they just want to put it on the sideline as he throws it to Misha Freistatter. The ever-crafty Bob Lou throwing scoobers is his second nature, I feel like, especially righty scoobers. He does like his lefty throws as well. Seen enough of those. He actually, in the Dallas game, he threw a lefty backhand huck because why not?
Veteran holster from Nutt as he looks off Goose Helton with a tight defender to put it into Misha Freistatter in the end zone.
Misha's second goal of the game, and he was active that point. You know, the big man, to his credit, does more than just cut deep. He can beat you on the under, he can beat you on the up line. He's a big body to get around, even so for somebody like you and I trying to guard him. He's able to use his space and his speed pretty well.
Somebody like you and I, he's 6'7". That man has my matchup all day.
And for somebody that tall, the man can jump and he can read the disc insanely well. It's quite impressive to see somebody that big move his body that well. Wonder if he's a good dancer.
We should ask him.
We should ask him. And Noah Saul putting up the disc here. Big towering pull from the Flyers. Cook with the disc. He's got Mathis in the lane. Johnny Lynch guarding him in a round throw, finding Orlov. Nice snag there from number 24. Springy Michael Mathis being guarded by Johnny Lynch. And a round throw to Cook.
Flyers doing a great job defending that upline space.
Oh, and the offensive line cutter Jacob Mao is now in the game. He's going to play a little D-line. A staple on that team's O-line, getting a rare chance. Oh, and David Richardson with an incredible layout grab with a baseball slide on his side to make up for that not-so-great throw from Jacob Mao.
D-Rich actually wears baseball pants to games. He knows what he's doing.
He does. He knows what a lot of his game is. I mean, to be fair, this is probably the nicest grass you'll ever get to play on. It won't hurt as much as, you know, some other surfaces like turf or really sketchy grass. But
gorgeous grass here in the Wakemed Soccer Park.
Absolutely. Just pristine. We're lucky to even, you know, be able to throw on this before the game.
We got the best fans down here celebrating that break.
That's the Raleigh Hangar, known for their bucket-breaking breaks.
Messing up this nice grass.
Maybe that's why Wakemed gets mad at us.
They love us, we love them.
Absolutely. Cunningham swinging the disc, and he's going to get it right back.
Flyers with Junkie D again.
Absolutely. He's had a good game tonight, Cunningham. You know, he's a bit of a gunslinger. He's made a lot of good decisions tonight, a lot of good inside breaks. You know, he's a big frame to throw to. He's hard to defend because of his size and his speed. Played against him enough times to know that he's not somebody that you want to guard. You talk about the size and speed, but then also throw the dynamics of a lefty in there.
Cunningham gesturing downfield to pull cutters out of his space. He wants isolation.
That's Purcell.
He likes his matchup.
Really nice cut, and he's looking for the hammer, and he's got it.
A little bit of confusion from Raleigh there.
Absolutely, a little emphatic spike from Elliott Moore to try to rally his Austin Soul teammates and start a little run of their own. They're still down 5.
Flyers throwing an O-line on there. We've got David Allison going out to coordinate the offense. Yeah, on that line we're seeing 00, the headband, Goose Helton. We have the downfield cutter in Jacob Mao, Bob Lou on the backside of the disc with Kieran Allen. Of course, big man Misha Freystadter, the huge target Fairfax ready to streak deep, and Jack Williams ready to be anywhere they need him on the field.
Is it okay to give a man who has a nickname another nickname? Can he be known as the headband?
I thought Goose was his legal name, to be honest, until this moment.
Word, okay.
Jonathan's just a formality.
It's all tax information.
Yeah, semantics.
Disc just ahead of the break mark for Bob Lou to pick up. And Bob Lou is somebody who has really added a new dynamic to this Raleigh Flyers team. He's very consistent, and he makes a lot of throws like that one that most people just don't have in their repertoire. But he does so very casually, very intelligently. He sees the field very well, and he exudes confidence when he's throwing the disc.
Very true, very true. And like what you said in Andrew McKelvey's lateral movement, Bob Lou can move any direction at whatever speed he pleases. That man's lateral movement is something to behold. as a huge swing is aired out to him, and he is pinned on the home sideline, looking for some help.
And Austin doing a really good job of separating their field, and Fairfax is still able to get up, and Bob Lewis taking off, and Freistatter not seeing him. Really good defense downfield from number 22. Goose taking a shot here to Misha.
Misha with the highest of releases.
And Fairfax with the goal from Misha Freistatter.
That's something you'll be seeing all season. Misha Freistatter with the high release backhand over his defender.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to stop somebody who's throwing at about 7'6". You'd think that the defender might be expecting that, but still, you can expect that throw and still not be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, I expect him to be tall at all times.
He's not going to get shorter anytime soon, that is for sure.
Austin Soul looking a little tired. We got several hands on knees over there as they're calling their O-line right now, ready for the Flyers pull.
That's okay. They get a nice locker room to go into for halftime. That's a little Southern hospitality from us, giving them the locker room.
And this nice grass.
That's right. We're so nice to them.
We're just nice people.
We don't have the backdrop to the city of Austin like they do, so that's pretty cool. I mean, we have trees, though. Trees are nice.
Beautiful pull outlined by the gorgeous trees in the background, pointed out.
As Rory Orloff goes ahead and picks up the disc. He's moving the disc with Aubrey Davis, and Pannoni pressuring Nattenberg. Mathis getting guarded by Justin Allen, two springy, athletic people that I would never want to guard in my life. Hate it. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Lots of dynamic players on the Saul. If we can get Jock to push Henke in the backfield, that might actually be one of our better chances.
Absolutely. With 45 seconds. Oh, and a janky throw right there from the Soul as Nattenberg's not able to catch up to that Aubrey Davis throw. And Noah Saul is going to pick up the disc, and Mike Pannoni's going to go off to the races, and he's opting not to throw it. Justin Allen's got the disc now, and he's got Fairfax, and yeah, that's a great throw.
Gorgeous throw.
And the defender quits on that one.
When Fairfax gets up to gear, 10, 11, you just got to stop.
It's kind of worth noting that Jacob Fairfax is like 7 is most people's like 11. He's when he's not running his hardest, that's actually when he's running probably about 70%. We do tempo runs to kind of warm our bodies and cool our bodies down before games. Jacob Fairfax's 70% is like me running for like if a cheetah was chasing after
that
me.
That man
like.
Steps up a tempo. That was his second goal in a row for the Flyers. Coming down on D to throw a huge athletic line, trying to get a stop in the last 21 seconds of this quarter.
Absolutely, and I'd like to just point out like how great of a coaching staff we are so lucky to have on the Flyers with Mike Denardis and Dave Allison. You have players like Jacob Fairfax and Jakeem Polk who are new to the game, right? They're new players. They haven't been playing for a lot of years, but we see the blossoming of young, talented athletes that have an intelligent game sense. It's the coaching of Denardis and Allison that allows players like Jacob Fairfax to flourish. When I played with him on Charlotte, he was very raw. He didn't know exactly where to cut. He knew that he was faster than everybody, and he knew he could jump higher than everybody, but he didn't always know where to go. Now that he's played ring for 2 years and he's been able to play with the Flyers, he is more confident, he exudes positivity, but he does it so humbly. He's never the first person to say like, oh, I'm doing what I can. I would say if I go up to him and say, hey man, you're playing great out there, it's thank you. I'm just trying.
Super nice guy, very nice guy.
Very approachable. A professional in a semi-professional sport.
Yeah, the leadership in Mike Denardis and David Allison is all around the Triangle Ultimate area. They're involved in youth, college. You see them in the professional scene, changing the game on this super wide, huge stage where you can draw fouls and double teams, and then you see him in the traditional USAU Ultimate as well.
And he wins. I mean, talk about a guy who's one of 94 coaches for, North Carolina and able to lead North Carolina to a national title over Pitt this past week on Monday. And, less than a week later, he's out here coaching the Flyers against the Austin Soul.
Yeah, with David Allison right beside him. We have a centered pull to the Soul.
And 20 seconds on the clock as Raleigh is going to look to stagnate this offense, and I don't even know what that was, but it worked. And over the top to Cunningham, and he's going to be running with Nattenberg, and they're going to be little dishy give and go with 3 seconds left, 2 seconds left, and we see a huck. And David Richardson's going to be lurking, Orlov in the area. And Jonathan Nethercutt, the stash, comes in and puts an end to the first half with an emphatic D. The Flyers are up 18-11 as we're going to take away a little bit for this halftime break, and we'll get back to you in a little bit.
First few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
And we're back here in Cary, North Carolina at Wakemed Soccer Park, with the Austin Sol getting a huge shot up the sideline to start their attempted hold here in the second half. We had a foul call on that play just now with a yardage advance for the Sol, putting them in the red zone, trying to punch it in here for the hold.
And we want to go ahead and tell our viewers that there are possible storm coming. So if there is a lightning delay, we are going to be taking a little bit of a delay, but if it gets too bad, we might see a early end of the game. So just want to warn our viewers there.
There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne. No? Dark Knight? Am I the only one? All right.
My God. As Austin's on the goal line, Kyle Hankey with the disc. And he just, little soft backhand around the mark.
Defensive play from David Richardson got called back earlier. Unclear why. Tried to shoot one up the middle of a few Flyer defenders with a clamp down from D-Rich. Called back. Austin retains the hold with the first score of the half, 18-12.
Maybe that's why, with the storms possibly rolling in, maybe that's why the sun went down a little earlier than we thought it would.
Maybe it was the beautiful trees.
These trees are beautiful, let me tell you.
These are some gorgeous trees out here, folks.
The Lorax would be very impressed. You old enough to know what the Lorax is?
Of course I know what the Lorax is.
Okay.
It's like a cleaning product, right?
Oh, God.
Nah, save the trees, save the trees.
A pull here, little blade, not one of their usual hanging ones.
Not as lofty as we're used to with the Sol.
It's a product of a tired body as Nutt fakes the throw to the sideline and actually throws it this time to Bob Lou, and a flood from the Flyers, a side stack as darkness creeps into Wakemed Soccer Park. Some dark, ominous clouds as the Flyers play back and forth, and now they cut through to Lou, finding Helton, and the headband is gone. Oh no, oh God.
Doesn't bode well for the offense. Completely joking as Bob Lou inverts the disc back to center to Matsuka. We're not seeing a ton of downfield cuts from the Flyers because of the Sol zone wall. It's hard to break through that.
Well, one way to go through a zone is over, and when the disc is in the hands of Matsuka or Lou, you can pretty much guarantee that it is coming. It is only a matter of when. Goose gonna take a shot, and man, talk about threading the needle into Bob Lou. Those two know each other a little bit from their time on Machine and DC Breeze, and of course on Ring last year. Bob Lou and Goose Helton, that is chemistry you cannot coach. That is just earned.
And by the way, we'd like to recognize our sponsor, the Dollar Store.
As the score is 19-12 in favor of the Raleigh Flyers.
Raleigh with another huge athletic D-line, and Mike Pannoni, Captain Noah Saw. We see Terrence Mitchell on that line, Jakeem Polk, the rookie Johnny Lynch, Kieran Allen, and of course, Shane Sisko.
And of course, as we are players on the Raleigh Flyers, we get the luxury of being in on the team talk at halftime, and Coach DeNardis was stressing really ramping up the man-to-man play, and if we get the disc to really attack them in space, to really make them want to run and grind them into the ground. Because as you were mentioning towards the end of the game, they were getting tired. Hands were on the knees. It wasn't a very long half. I think that the weather kind of played into that factor a little bit. Now we see Austin with the disc now, and Raleigh has gone away from their traditional double-team junk here. Jakeem Polk shutting down. Daftari's cut deep. Johnny Lynch opting to pick up the mark here. Adams with the disc now.
Oh, the mark streaking on Lynch as he recognized the size mismatch.
Yes, that is Walter, very much larger on Johnny Lynch, but I still would not say Johnny Lynch is at a disadvantage there. He can probably make up that height in an instant. And Pannoni, Looks like he might have misread the disc a little bit there, and a goal for the Austin Soul. That looked like Matt Biershank taking that disc for the goal.
Johnny Lynch, an explosive defender. But when you recognize a size mismatch like that, you often see people clearing wide so they're not in play and then streaking to the deep space so they can have that entire field to use as a lane to throw into. Smart cutting from the Soul. Tried and true O-line going out for the Raleigh Flyers right now. Of course, on the backside of the disc, we're seeing Bob Blue out here ready to punch in another goal. I'd love to see another streak up line from Bob Blue.
Absolutely. I mean, Bob Blue is one of those players that is so crafty with the disc in his hands, but also when it's not. He's a very intelligent cutter, and he has no fear going downfield, and he is so fast.
He is quick.
I mean, the thing about Raleigh is that we do not have any lack of athleticism, especially in the handlers. In the ADL, everyone needs to be athletic, but when they are athletic freaks such as Bob Blue or Jonathan Nethercutt, that makes the defensive job so much harder.
Yeah, not to mention our downfield height advantage that we're throwing right now in Misha Freystadter, Jacob Mao, and Fairfax.
As Fairfax is streaking deep, and maybe a little bit too soon for Nethercutt to hit him on the same third. It's a really nice crossfield flick, finding Williams, who's really set into his new role as a handler. He is a pure hybrid now this year, Jack, and maybe a result of more of the throws is, Jacob Mao just missing that throw, but he's going to go ahead and get that one back. Now he's
What a heads-up play from Jacob Mao.
0 for the point. He is mad. He is running with emphaticism. Austin looking exhausted, and Matsuka with the no-look throw, and Bob Blue towing the sideline, 20-13.
I'm not sure that could have gone off without a no-look, honestly. The defense bid on the left side of him.
It's one of those ones where you're like, I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay if we don't, because there's no way he's going to try to, he snuck it in there. Nope, he wasn't even looking and snuck it in there. Matsuka to Lou, another former Machine, former DC Breeze, now Raleigh Flyers connection.
Both goals for Raleigh this half put up by Bob Blue and the other side of the disc, the one we're not used to seeing him on.
And what a heads-up play from Jake Mao. I was talking to him a little bit at the half, giving him some, junk about his throw to David Richardson. He gets out there and he throws a turn, and what does he do? Literally the next throw, he gets it back. I think anybody could have got that one, and there was no Austin player within like 10 yards, but he really hustled for it as Noah Saul's pull goes up. And a little lackluster sense of urgency from the Raleigh defense. We see a jog down here from the defenders as they seem to be conserving some energy. They are up, after all. Elliot Moore with the disc. He's got Murphy streaking deep, and now he's got Cunningham. And
2 Raleigh defenders in pursuit. Great help defense from Josh Hartzog.
a big frame of Cunningham able to find his handler. Brooks back to Lewis. Moore, and Moore just turfs that throw. It's the right throw, but the angle was off, and Cunningham was unable to find it. And Noah Saul is going to take the shot to Helton. It's sitting up there. My money's still on Goose. Oh, and Josh Hartzog has got it, but he's not in. The Austin defender stays down. And that is a great, lucky play for the Raleigh Flyers.
Extremely well cut run from Goose Helton.
Sorry about the technical difficulties as we prepare for the possible rain coming in.
Wayne.
There's a storm brewing as
Played up here in the stands. An on-field interview. What's your name? Matthew. Who you root for? And who is your favorite player? Jack Williams.
Great second effort from Zog to bring down that pass and complete it to Goose in the end zone.
absolutely. As we see Jack Williams playing some defense and running down the pole, Mike Pannoni! Oh my goodness! Oh!
Almost
Mike
an attempt at a
Pannoni
Callahan there.
almost got a layout Callahan as he read the swing throw from Austin. Losing his pants in the process, but an incredible athletic display from Pannoni, and the blade to Jakeem Poe, catches it with his wrist. And wow. If that had actually worked, if he actually got that, that would have definitely been our top 10 play of the week from the AUDL. There's no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely, and a perfect punctuation of that play was another Williams assist to another Polk goal. Going to see tons more of that this season.
And Raleigh really flexing their muscle. Their lead stretches to 9 points. And this is something that Mike DeNardis really stressed about pushing this gap of points between the two teams to a point where it doesn't matter if there is going to be a lightning delay. We want to make sure that we are emphatically putting down this team.
That is the 3rd goal in a row for Raleigh.
Nethercutt with the pull, a towering inside-out pull. It's going to sit nicely towards the right side of the field for Austin.
Tons of time for the defense to come down and man up. See them pointing. Oh no, it looks like a junk line out to space to challenge the throwers in Saul.
Orlov with the disc now. A lot of uncharacteristic turns for Austin tonight. I know in their game, when we played them in Austin, they were, oh, wow. That's a
very questionable play from the
far side ref making that call. I think that's going to be an offensive foul. Not sure that will result in any sort of turnover, but that was a intentional pick by Orlov on Terrence Mitchell, denying him the ability.
We saw a shoulder check to prevent Mitchell from getting the help D, streaking up to try and meet him in that space where that disc was headed.
Little contact on the mark there from Matsuka. The Austin defender actually offender started backing up. He was like, no, this way, I followed you. Big swing over to Hankey. He's pointing, and he wants the hammer.
Hankey with a hammer, huge hammer hanging out.
He called for it, and Jonathan Nethercutt, using his size really well to box out the defender. It was a lot of contact, but just like in basketball, he went up there and made a play before and hit the disc before the body actually went up there. Great play by Nethercutt. He can beat you with his arm, and he can beat you with his shoulders, apparently, as Matsuka takes a shot to Hartzog, and Hartzog's going to rise up. And he's going to throw a nice throw out there for the bookends. Nethercutt, another break for the Raleigh Flyers. 23-13.
Yeah, we saw Zog attack the hips of his defender, get him shifted toward the orientation of the field. That was the least dangerous space, and then Zog blasts off to that open side where his hips are already committed to the other side. Great cutting from Josh Hartzog.
And to the casual fan, you know, the throw from Matsuka might not seem like the best of throws, but because it has that tailing edge going back towards the middle of the field, that throw of the future, as DeNardis calls, you know, it takes that defender's ability to make a play on the disc and it reduces it. Doesn't matter how big that defender is. The defender was big. I think it was Hankey. And Zog was able to outposition him because of the throw and go up and rise up to make the play.
Very true, very true. Forces your defender to play on the disc at a much higher point than the offense has to.
Absolutely.
The throw of the future is here.
The future is now.
Big pull from the Flyers, trying to get their 5th in a row right now, running down to get this break. The Soul look off a deep streaking cut from number 99.
That's right, Murphy making that cut there. He gets looked off, and Cunningham over to Lewis, and swing over to Purcell, who rises up to make that. Brooks finding Cunningham. He's going to take a shot with the hammer. And McKelvey making his offender Murphy jump early in the old short man game.
Veteran play from John McKelvey.
Gotta hate to see when that works. And unfortunately for the Austin Soul player, he is injured. So there's going to be a sub. Wonder if Raleigh's going to take a sub here.
I just called McKelvey John. Andrew McKelvey.
I like John McKelvey. We can start calling him John.
Sounds like a spy.
Ancient McKelvey. John McKelvey. I feel like that could be like a movie trailer. In a world
where lightning cancels professional Frisbee games,
John McKelvey saves the day. Let's write. I think we can make this a film. Let's write this.
We see great pressure on the backfield from the Soul, tipping a swing from Noah Saul.
Jacob Fairfax opting not to swing the disc, hits Kieran Allen in the middle of the field. Soft lefty backhand to Fairfax. Double team applied by Austin. Scoopers over the top to Bode. And we see moving backwards again from the Flyers, and I wonder if this is going to be a Denardis timeout soon, but it looks like a little bit of offensive pressure now. And Jakeem Polk's going to take a shot.
Let's go. Oh, he knows his target.
Oh, my
Cookie jar from Fairfax as he sails it into Mike Pannoni.
Honey dip. My goodness.
That is the 5th point in a row for the Flyers, 4th break in a row.
That man unfortunately did not win the Callahan. Don't know how, but yes, he just continues to roast people in the air, deep. Jakeem Polk just saying, yeah, why not? What? I'm gonna throw a huck.
I would put that up every time. Yeah, Jock not getting the assist on that, but his huck making it to the goal line so that Pannoni could outrun his man and get open in the end zone for Fairfax.
Sweet, sweet warning track power from Jock. We talked about his ability to throw. Might not have been the greatest throw, but you got Fairfax. Why not?
And we got a big pull up from 00, the headband, Goose Helton.
Where's the headband? It's on its own break right now.
It's in our hearts, CJ. It's in our hearts. Oh, great bid from Hankey as he recovers a questionable throw on a centering pass.
Hankey just running a bit unguarded right now, and as Raleigh's playing some form of defense, it's there, I promise you, it's there.
Really good job from the Soul to spread Cisco up that line. It's hard to play D on 3 people.
And shockingly, when you don't have all 7 people playing defense, team's gonna take advantage of that. And I believe that one was Hankey to, I think it was Elliot Moore who might have gotten that one. But good movement from Austin as they are able to, as we say in Ultimate, stop the bleeding.
Is that an Ultimate specific reference?
I'm not sure. I've just heard it a lot. There's a lot of things I hear in Ultimate. I don't know how it might be. You know, stop the bleeding is like all about stopping breaks, but I don't know if you would do that for any other sport.
Well, Saul did a great job the Austin Saul did a great job to stop the bleeding there while Raleigh went for a 5-goal run with 4 breaks.
There's still a 10-point advantage as we have 3 minutes and 14 seconds as we see darker clouds rolling in. Haven't seen the sky light up a little bit though, so that's good at least. Maybe we can at least get to the 4th quarter before it starts to happen. It's worth mentioning that the Raleigh Flyers have a women's professional ultimate team as a partner with them as the Raleigh Radiants, and they have their first game coming up later this month on June 16th as they'll take on the Nashville Nightshade. Some of their members include some athletes that are here, including Ashley Powell and Becky Widmeyer and Alex Robbins and Rowan James, who are part of the NC State Jaega team that knocked off the Oregon women in the first round of pool play earlier this past week at College Nationals. A really impressive win for the program. And you can come see them play here, not here, so to speak, at Wakemed, but you can come see them play at Cardinal Gibbons in 2 weeks, and that's going to be really exciting, a really awesome opportunity. The first professional ultimate game for women in North Carolina, and it looks like a strip call there as the Raleigh Flyers are moving the disc down the field.
Yeah, shout out to Sarah Hash, member of the Raleigh Radiants, for teaching me how to throw, essentially. Hometown friend, great player. Come see her play in the Radiants game on the 16th. The 16th, right, CJ?
That's right. As the wind starts to pick up a little bit here in North Carolina, which we know that only means one thing's coming.
Winter. No, I'm sorry.
Winter has come.
Oh, my bad. We're seeing a hat blow from the opposite sideline. Harsh winds out here. Nothing to Bob Lou and Jack Williams. He reels it in off of Bobble to the back shoulder for another Raleigh goal.
And right now, fans, an impromptu interview from the stands. Sir, what's your name? Captain Brown. And who you cheering for? Raleigh Flyers! And who is your favorite Raleigh Flyers player? Number 8, Terrence Bishop.
No lack of energy here from the fans, the best fans in the country for Ultimate Frisbee. We got our own hangar section, always representing the Flyers family. And Raleigh is throwing yet another D-line, ready to do some damage. Matt Bode beside Captain Noah Saul. Jakeem Polk looking hungry. We got Josh Hartzog ready to make another miraculous play.
And with the wind picking up, we're going to see some poles not really get towards where the distance they were originally going to. As the Flyers are working upwind, Austin downwind, we're going to see a lot of harder, and we're sorry about the audio, we can hear it on our own ends with the wind picking up, so we apologize for you viewers at home hearing the wind. It is picking up rapidly here.
The wind is so important for Frisbee. Right now we have a bit of a crosswind going on. CJ, what does that mean? That's an ultimate term. Teach the fans
well,
at home.
A crosswind is when, if the field is running, let's say in this case it's running north to south, and a really impressive layout there from Noah Saul. If the field is north to south, the wind is going east to west here, and in this case it's west to east, as Brett Matsuka doesn't care about the wind and throws a scooper anyways.
Classic Matsuka.
You know, I told Noah Saul at halftime that his offense, or his gameplay is boring. He just does everything so well, it's just not entertaining. And he looked at me and goes, I'm too old for that. Well, you wouldn't know because you got to lay out D on that point. Jakeem Pollock with a nice in-cut. And
great inside floated backhand from Matt Bode to Matsuka.
And nice double team, and Jock's going to throw, and it's going to hit Noah Saul. And the wind playing a little bit of a hectic spin, and a little 12-6 curveball there. Noah Saul does not care about the wind. Throws it right into the wind's heart. And Brett Matsuka able to track that one the whole way, making a very nice catch.
In a scrim the other day, I was talking to Brett Matsuka, and I threw him a very questionable around flick, not my best throw. And after the play, I apologized, and he said, why? It hit me in the hands. That means I can catch it. And he lived that true in the end zone in this game today. You hit him in the hands, he's bringing you home some gold.
You know, one thing that I've really been excited about, you know, living down in the Triangle for 5 years now, is being around such great Ultimate players. And the crazy thing about it is that you know, you and I, we haven't lived Ultimate our whole lives here in the Triangle like some of these people have. You know, the humbleness of these players, the humility that they have to tell you that it's going to be okay for not every throw to be to the person's chest, but if it hits him in the hands, it's a good throw. As an offsides call on the Flyers, is going to move the disc to half field. You know, it really does say something to have such great teammates, and who are also really good at Ultimate.
North Carolina Ultimate making a showing out here today, 26-14. The Flyers up on the Austin Soul on the road as they walk up, centering the disc.
Yeah, quite the stark difference from the game down in Austin, but like I said, there were a couple people missing in today's game that were there the first game. Oh, and a nutmeg as the thrower threw it right between the legs of Shane Cisco. A highlight throw. Nice inside flick there from Purcell. Excuse me, that was number 22, Bigley. Daftari with the disc, gets it back. Over to Mathis. Michael Mathis looking for Beershank, and he's going to toss it up, and Jacob Fairfax is going to take that away.
That's not one you want to float on the inside to Jacob Fairfax. He gets any height advantage, he can capitalize on that.
Now rush throw because of the time, because the third quarter has come to an end with the Raleigh Flyers up 26-14, and they will be receiving the first fourth quarter pull. We'll step away for a quick second.
Right next to the fence, he pushes a mini day.
coming back in for the last quarter of the game here at Wakemed Park in Cary, North Carolina. Beautiful trees, beautiful grass, no longer a beautiful sky as we're on the lookout for lightning and storms, possibly still in the future. Yeah, we can see the officials looking to the sky to see any lightning, listening for thunder. But regardless, the pull is up from the Saul. Landing short with no need for a centering pass. Bob Lou up the field to Nutt. Nutt with a swing to Matsuka on the sideline. Backhand back to Nutt, around to Bob. The Saul zone presenting more of a challenge for the Flyers downfield cutting that we've seen in the first half. Huge flick huck up from Nutt. Henke in pursuit. Oh, veteran D from Henke, barely tipping it before Mao can bite in on a drop shot. And it appears there's a lightning delay. Yeah, we have some lightning spotted far off in the distance, so we're gonna go to a lightning delay here, folks. We'll be back soon.
Head referee Daniel Wong, referee Mike Garrett, Jason Weddle just called is that a lightning?
And we're back after a very, very short lightning delay. I think there was some lightning that a ref thought he spotted. Anyway, Austin Disk with a large yardage gain on the fourth side. They're working up that fourth side lane, but a turnover thrown.
And the
caught
headband
by the
coming
wind.
in there, making a nice play.
0-0, Goose the headband Helton.
I love the double nickname.
Jonathan Goose the headband Helton.
More aliases, please. As Nutt with the no look over to the headband. And a nice run out to Misha. Misha probably not going to try to huck it there with the win. Nice undercut there from Mao. Probably one of the best cutters on this team. He's a quiet assassin out there.
Smart cutter.
Former Dark Side alum.
A Mike D product.
That's right. And Jonathan Goose, the headband, Helton, that really does flow well.
It comes out pretty nice, I'm not going to lie.
I hope he realizes that is forever going to be a thing. It might just be for us, for him, but it will be a thing.
While he's scoring goals for Raleigh, he'll be scoring goals in my heart. That was the most generic announcer thing I think I've ever said.
And so the Raleigh Flyers up 27-14. And like we said, there won't be a lightning delay. It looks like the lightning is pushing away from us, supposedly. Misha or I will be the first ones to know if it does, because we'll get hit. But, you know, we'll be a casualty for the game. You'll be like a close third. I think you're like the third tallest out here.
Well, we're up in the announcer's box, so we're a little bit higher than Misha.
That's true.
Only by inches, though.
Quick, hug me.
If you needed a hug, just say so, CJ.
Oh, God, absolutely.
And we've got the Saul disc for what I believe is the third time in a row.
Yep. Oh, and a big layout there from Matt Bode. Let me tell you, Matt Bode is one of the most athletic people you could possibly see play Ultimate. He can D up anybody he wants to. Big, small, large, skinny, doesn't matter. Matt Bode can D them up, and right there, he just shows it with his athleticism on a much bigger target than Jace Cunningham.
Austin Saul doing a good job pushing their stack downfield, getting really big space gains or yardage gains with their undercutting when they force you to bite that deep space and they have a ton of yards underneath to use.
And that's a really high stall count. And a pick called, actually. So that's going to be a yardage penalty.
The stall remains, right, CJ?
I believe so, yes. I believe there is no change to the stall. So that would be kind of a really unfair advantage for them. And he's just going to take the deep shot here. He has to. And the disc actually kept sitting up for Cunningham, who kind of looked like he gave up on the play. Had he run, he might have had a play on it. I don't know. He probably wouldn't have, but, you know, hate to see that.
We're not seeing consistent wind out here. It's a little swirly, mostly a crosswind.
As we see Bode and Saul, longtime friends and teammates. Oh, and the wind playing a little bit of devil on David Richardson's hands.
Snaps back on D, number 84, ready to lock down.
Feels bad for a tenth of a second. Locks down, like you said. Great to see. That's a good professional right there. Looks like a backhand force from McKelvey. And Purcell in pursuit. Oh, wow. A somersault catch from Purcell, who has ditched his headband and hat from before, and unfortunately cannot muscle that one into the wind, which has changed. If you haven't noticed, the wind is swirling a little bit more now, and that throw from Purcell got shut down. Oh, a little casual there from the franchise. Hartzog able to make the catch there. Oh! And Andrew John McKelvey unable to find that one. I hope all these guys know we're coming up with nicknames left and right. They're going to hate
One
us.
of them's John.
Well, if I know his girlfriend Gentry, she'll love it. If it embarrasses him slightly.
Looking toward the franchise for that continuation around.
Oh!
Great bid from Johnny Lynch. Explosive rookie. That's what he does.
Oh, a little shaken up on the play.
Oh, that's not what he does.
That is... Oh, he's pointing at his hamstring. I hope it's just a cramp.
He commutes to games and practices from South Carolina. Had a little over a 3-hour drive today. So, a lot of time in the car.
Absolutely.
That might be the kind of fatigue that the Soul are feeling, to be honest.
That was an incredible feat of athleticism. And it's interesting because with a hamstring like that, you know, obviously the hamstring's tight when you try to speed up really fast. And if there's something Johnny Lynch can do very well, it is, of course, speed up very fast. And that was an incredible layout. I swear, every game, it's just another layout from him. And David Richardson's off to the races, and a big huck from Noah Saul.
Only person that can play D on him at that point is, I was going to say the observer, but turns out it's the wind as well.
Looks like the Flyers have to do a better job of looking the disc into their hands. And it's something that doesn't matter the level of ultimate you are at, whether it's professional or middle school, you tell your people to look the throw in 100% before you move on. And sometimes with the wind, we get a little bit careless.
That's right. Also, never stop attacking the disc. Make sure you're moving toward it if you can, or else you'll get blown up by layout D like Johnny Lynch.
That's right. This is a little coaching and commentary from CJ and Josh. Good shutdown there from Allen. Really taken away. It's hard to guard upline cuts from the backhand side, and he was able to do it no problem. And he just knocks that one out. Oh, really sweet, greatest attempt.
That would have been clean.
That would have been real nice. But alas.
Great job by what I think was Noah Saul. Yeah, Noah Saul on the handler defense, pushing that handler into the sideline. He knows that it's a dangerous play for him to get the disc to the center of the field and get that lateral gain, so he pushes him back into that sideline. Huge shot up to Matt Bode. Airs out to space. Easy run. Veteran timeout call from Matt Bode.
Really good from Matt Bode, and I hate to say it for that team, but I think they're actually pretty happy they can walk off and kind of take a break there, get the O-line on, punch in another easy break for the Raleigh Flyers.
Yeah, Austin's looking rather tired as well.
You know, the worst part about this for Austin is that, you know, it is a Friday, so that's good, but I'm not sure. Do they have another game after this? I would maybe.
I'm not positive if there's a doubleheader for them this weekend.
If not, then it'll be a quick weekend in Carolina and back to Texas tomorrow. But this is not the kind of result they were hoping to have.
Yeah, they came here and they expected to have some grand fun playing Frisbee, but instead they got met with a storm. Not lightning and thunder, CJ, but the Raleigh Flyers.
Something else was flying through the air.
Oh, yes. It was Johnny Lynch.
It was Johnny Lynch. And, you know, I hate to say it, like, with Austin's game plan in the first quarter, if they had maintained that type of level, they would have been in this game a little bit longer, but we can see fatigue and getting away from that game plan and kind of just hucking it and playing defense. It's not boding well for them. And this is a team that started the season off pretty hot, really close losses to Dallas. They still haven't beaten Dallas this year, and a really sweet around throw from Nutt to Jack Williams, not in. And Jack Williams looking for yet another assist in his stats this season, hitting Jonathan Helton, the headband, for another goal. A man with 9 toes.
Great job from number 22 on the sole. Didn't want to make the commitment to bid for that disc into Jack Williams, who was trying to milk it as much as possible. Would have been a very dangerous play. Not a Frisbee play that you'd see very often. People don't like to go for dangerous plays and put other players in jeopardy.
Absolutely, and that's really good to see. You know, in Ultimate, we have this sense of respect. The spirit of the game is still a major factor in this sport, something that has drawn athletes anywhere to this game, is something that is so unique. And, you know, it's non-contact, and that guy did a really great job of avoiding Jack Williams, who was completely exposed. If he had ran right through him, he could have seriously injured him. So it's nice to see that he avoided him, and as the pole just keeps rising from Noah Saul. By avoiding him, you know, he did give up his position and did give up a goal, but it was a great moment of spirit out there.
We got big Misha Firstadter in the backfield playing defense, trying to get some huge marks on that so we can avoid some hucks.
Oh, and just like we talked about, not looking the throw in, Beershanks not able to look that one in, and Mike Pannoni's in the dump space. Sure, why not? Feed the man. Freistadter with a 9-foot high release there over his throw, but it looks like there was a pick call.
Like I said, we're sending down big defenders in the backfield space to get some wide marks on the handlers in the backfield and the sole. We don't want these huge hucks going up, because with our score doubled 28-14, any chance the sole has would be long balls and punching them in fast.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I've seen some pretty fast scores in Ultimate, but I don't think that this one is attainable to come back for the sole. They would have to do some serious work. And Saul's on the goal line. Nice little upline cut. And the ref's not calling him in, so another
delayed call from the ref.
And Misha just drives past his defender, using his large body to box out the defender.
6'7" King Kong, leaving toppled Saul players in his path. I think I saw 3 bodies hit the ground.
Do we have enough buckets? Are they running out? I don't think we've ever broken this much in a game before. There was like I think one game I was a participant in. It was my first year here on the Flyers. We beat the Express like 33-14 or something, and we broke a lot that game. I played a lot, so that must have meant we broke a lot that game. So I think we're getting close to this margin of points right now. This is a really impressive display by the Flyers on a pretty good Austin Sol team. They've had some really good results earlier in the season. It does look like Johnny Lynch is done for the night. I see his pullover over his jersey, so it looks like he's been taken out.
Pullover over his pullover was
Ooh.
actually right.
A little bright light. Didn't know if that was a camera or lightning, but evidently just a camera.
The franchise explodes, looking to challenge the swing around with what we thought was going to be a layout D, but instead just a pressure mark.
Oh, careless throw. Doesn't get rewarded by the Flyers getting a Callahan. And he's just going to huck it. Oh, no, just kidding. A stall in the end zone. Kieran Allen still tracking the disc to no avail. A stall called by the ref.
The difference you see in the AADL is as soon as the whistle's blown, we got dead discs. There's not much to be done. But in Club Ultimate, if there's a call and a disc goes up, you're going to see defenders challenge that and try to take that down regardless.
Absolutely, because even if the disc hits the ground or is in possession of the defense, then it doesn't matter what was contested and what was not, as Bob Lou throws a cheeky around backhand to Jack Williams. And this is just, it's getting ugly for the Austin Sol. They're kind of hoping the next 3 minutes and 31 seconds are over quickly, as they can, yeah.
Well said, CJ.
So they can just get out of here. I don't even know what to say. I'm running out of superlatives for the Raleigh Flyers' performance tonight. This is a truly dominating display.
Yeah, we were talking earlier during the half about how it's a dangerous division in the AUDL. The South, we got any team can take down any team in the South. Jacksonville, or Tampa Bay Cannon's extremely dangerous. The Roughnecks, obviously.
Don't sleep on the Night Watch. They are reloaded this year. This is a team that lost 40-something games in a row, and then all of a sudden, 3 games in a row they've won.
Huge reinvigoration for Tennessee this year.
Huge.
Huge.
Math is catching the pull to Purcell, who's opted to put the hat back on. Apparently he did not like his result of throwing that one to Noah Saul on that hammer. Must have been the hat.
Must have been the hat.
Must have been the hat.
Great heads up D from Mike Pannoni. Taking down a shot that I don't think was intended for the person he was defending.
An AUDL journeyman, like myself, but he's a lot better. A 3-team veteran, and a good butterfly cut from Pannoni.
Great layout attempt from the Sol.
Andrew McKelvey holding his chest like, oh, that one almost didn't work. But it did. Great play by Pannoni. Flyers continuing to flex on the Sol. You could say that the sun is no longer shining in North Carolina in multiple ways.
Analogies are tight.
Analogies are on. To all of our viewers, I apologize.
He is a teacher.
I can't help it.
We're seeing the Flyers mascot generating some energy for the crowd. No need to be generating any energy for the players, as the Flyers have yet to take their foot off the pedal. This is the kind of energy Mike D was talking about at halftime.
And unlike in club, you have a limited roster. You only get 20 guys per game. So it's not like Mike D can throw in, people who don't get a chance to play. You can't just look at, like in Club Ultimate, you have 27 people. You get people that, and if it's a blowout like this, you might see people getting some game time. But
people like us might play.
Hey, put me in, coach. I'm ready. I'm going to put my flats on. We're going to go. But in this game, everybody has to continue to play, and you see that the pressure hasn't alleviated from the Flyers. Oh, and we have noticed that the clock is out in our broadcast, so there is 2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining as Austin takes a shot here and just unable to connect.
Good pressure D from D-Rich on that back shoulder.
A good run there from number 52, Daftari, but unfortunately, just like a lot of the throws from the Austin Sol tonight, they just haven't been working in the second half especially, which is really disappointing because, like I said, they are a good team. They have good throwers. A couple of them are missing tonight, but I don't know if a couple people can make up 17 points.
Yeah, questionable shots and tight windows is something you see from fatigue road teams a lot in the AUDL.
Absolutely.
It's just so much easier to throw something questionable when your legs are tired.
The thing about the South Division, it's not so much everybody has to travel far in every division that they play. If you're in the West, Seattle has to fly pretty much everywhere they go. In the East Division, you have people that have to go to Toronto. you know, if they're coming from DC, they have to go to Toronto. In the South, you might see somebody from a team from Raleigh go to Texas and vice versa. In the Midwest, it's a little bit more clustered into there. It's a little bit, I probably would have think the least amount of travel from a division. But it's fatiguing on a player. You know, take it from somebody who has done a Texas road trip before. It's not easy on your body, as a very low throw and a goal.
Wow, dug out by Misha Freystadter with the tumbling layout attempt with just over a minute and a half left to go in this fourth quarter of this game here.
The man is 6'7", and yet they throw it at his feet, and he's able to get it. That is athleticism at its finest.
Yeah, his center of gravity is at most people's faces.
I always think of that Calvin Johnson sports science, where it's like, at 6'5" and 40-inch vert, he has the wingspan of a 2-car garage. I envision the same thing as a little bit more for Misha, maybe 1.5. I don't know if he's quite Calvin Johnson athletic.
Nice cars, though.
Nice cars.
Yeah, we're talking foreign. Freystadter, that's foreign. That's something.
That's German.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a couple of Beamers.
Little VW action.
Go, Kieran!
Definitely not Volkswagen, you know. Turbo diesel's not actually clean.
Oh,
bummer.
Fair.
Bummer. And with a minute 32 left and an 18-point lead, there's probably no way the Flyers can blow this lead, so we can say that this game is wrapped up. And if they do blow it, well, great. That's an impressive come from behind for the Soul.
It would not be not fun to watch, CJ, I'm not going to lie.
I don't think it's possible. I'm trying to think of like the seconds to goals that they'd have to score, and that is incredible.
Soul with the disc in the center of the field with 1:16 left to play.
Amberg just getting stagnated by the Raleigh junk zone that they threw for about 2.5 quarters, and then once they started to pull away, they went back to a man, and now they're reaffirming their strength in numbers. Soul break it. Raleigh playing maybe a little bit looser than they did in the first with such a strong lead. And a nice around from there, and Shane Cisco gonna tip it. Oh, and it's not in. Orloff did not get his feet in. And he throws the disc into the net.
A bit of frustration from Orloff.
A little bit of frustration from Orloff, and he's going to get a unsportsmanlike call there. A delay of game. A little bit of frustration from Orloff. And the Flyers are going to get 20 yards on this one because it's a personal foul. And a big hammer from Matsuka over to Polk. The former Express teammates linking up. The Flyers are just looking to kill the clock. There's no need to throw more than a couple throws to end this game. Kieran Allen with the disc to Cisco.
10 seconds left.
Don't think anybody's going to try to pad their stats here.
The completion percentage, though.
That true. And a scooper over the top. And that's the game. The Flyers win 32-14, a home dominant win for the Raleigh Flyers. I'm CJ Colicchio here with Josh Smith, and we were very glad to be able to spend the night with you guys. So if we can go ahead and sign off, we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to come out to that Radiance game on the 13th?
16th. Yes, definitely come out to the Raleigh Radiance game on the 16th. Please, please, please come to that.